Unit 8, Motivation, Emotion, and Stress. Motivation is defined as a need or desire that energizes and directs behavior, or in other words, why we do what we do. Some major reasons on why we do what we do include achieving homeostasis, avoiding consequence, and incentives.
Hey Dad, I finished cleaning my room.
Good job, son. There are 4 main types of motivation. These involve intrinsic, extrinsic, conscious, and unconscious. Intrinsic motivation is doing something because you, yourself, are fulfilled by it. Extrinsic motivation is doing something because of outside factors. Conscious motivation is having the desire to engage in activity and being aware of the desire. And unconscious motivation is having a desire to engage in an activity but being consciously unaware of this desire. There is also an idea of a hierarchy of motives. This is explained through Maslow's hierarchy of needs, stating that basic physiological needs must be met before psychological needs become active. Motivation even plays a role in the reason we get hungry and eat. Many physiological, cultural, and situational factors influence hunger. What physiological factors produce hunger? Hunger pangs occur when our stomach contracts. Many hormones such as insulin, ghrelin, orexin, leptin, and PYY influence appetite. Humans also have a set point in which a weight thermostat is set. If we lose weight, an increase in hunger and lower metabolic rate may act so we can restore the lost weight. This is part of the reason why diets have a 2% success rate. A situational factor is the ability to remember the last time you ate. If Bailey has severe memory loss and I feed him lunch, and then a few seconds later I feed him lunch again, he will gladly accept the second lunch. Our preferences to sweet and salty tastes are genetic, but our cultural experiences can condition these preferences. People sickened by food may develop an aversion. Our culture teaches us that some food, such as horse, dog, and rat meat, which are eaten in other places around the world, are not acceptable in our own culture. We eat more when we're with others, and if we are given a big plate or bowl, we are more likely to consume more food. Sexual motivation. The study performed by Masters and Johnson described 4 stages in human sexual response cycle. These include excitement, plateau, orgasm, and resolution. Motives in conflict. There are 4 motives in conflict. These are approach conflict, approach avoidance conflict, avoidance conflict, and multiple approach avoidance conflict. Approach is when someone must choose between 2 equally attractive options, such as choosing between ice cream or cookie cake. Approach avoidance is when there are both positive and negative qualities of these options. An example is choosing between 2 colleges or voting. Avoidance is choosing between 2 unattractive options, such as selecting which country song to listen to.
Emotion. Emotion is defined as a mix of bodily arousal, expressive behaviors, and feelings. Figuring out how these pieces fit together is a big question for many psychologists. According to the James Lange theory, witnessing an external stimulus leads to a physiological response. Your emotional reaction depends upon how you interpret those physical reactions. For example, suppose you're walking in the woods and you see a grizzly bear. You begin to tremble and your heart begins to race. The James Lange theory proposes that you will interpret your physical reactions and conclude that you are frightened.
I'm trembling and my heart is beating really fast. I must be frightened.
According to the Cannon-Bard theory of emotion, we react to a stimulus and experience the associated emotion at the same time. For example, imagine that you are walking to your car through a darkened parking garage. You hear the sounds of footsteps trailing behind you and spot a shadowy figure slowly following you as you make your way to your car. According to the Cannon-Bard theory of emotion, you will experience feelings of fear and physical reaction at the same time.
I hear footsteps which make me afraid, and my heart is beating. And I can experience these at the same time, telling me that I'm frightened.
The two-factor theory of emotion focuses on the interaction between physical arousal and how we cognitively label that arousal. In other words, simply feeling arousal is not enough. We must also identify the arousal in order to feel the emotion. So, imagine you are alone in a dark parking lot walking toward your car. A strange man suddenly emerges from a nearby row of trees and rapidly approaches. The sequence that follows, according to the two-factor theory, would be much like this.
I see a strange man walking towards me. My heart is racing and I'm trembling. My rapid heart rate and my trembling are caused by fear. I must be frightened!
Cognitive appraisal theory. Individuals decide on an appropriate emotion following an event.
Tractor sexy.
God, country music makes me so angry. Opponent process theory. Theory that emotions have pairs. When one is heightened, one is suppressed. God, country music makes me so angry, and that in turn makes me feel less joy. Sensation seekers. Individuals who have a biological need for higher levels of stimulation than other people do.
Hey, Bailey, you wanna come jump off the roof into Dave's moving car with me?
Do I ever? We express emotion differently. Much of our communication is through body movements, facial expressions, and voice tones. Women tend to read emotional cues more easily and be more empathetic. Although gestures vary with culture, facial expressions are common all across the world. Cultures also differ in the amount of emotion they express. Now, let's move on to stress! Stress is a process by which we appraise and respond to stressors that challenge or threaten us. A stressor is used to describe any stimulus that causes stress, such as death, divorce, or the test tomorrow. Traumatic stressors are stressors that threaten one's physical safety. An extreme traumatic stressor can be looked at as a catastrophe, which will contain 5 stages. The 5 stages of catastrophe include psychic numbness, automatic action,
I need to do something.
communal effort,
Let's do something together.
letdown,
We did all we can.
and recovery.
I feel more at ease now.
Stress may exist in different forms as well. Acute stress is a temporary pattern of arousal caused by a stressor, such as the test tomorrow. Chronic stress contains stages of stress over time. This could be due to long-term depression, severe illness, or other severe stressors. The reactions to stress vary as well. Fight or flight responses says that we will either fight or run away. Tend and Befriend states that females respond to stress by nurturing. Some respond to stress is a type A way, as in stress makes you angry, intense, or competitive. Ugh! I miscolor coordinated my planner! Ugh! Some may be the type B, which is a relaxed, unstressed approach to life. Whatever, man. Too much stress can be very dangerous. Prolonged stress can damage neurons, hastening cell death. Stress makes us more vulnerable to disease. Stress diverts energy from the immune system, inhibiting macrophages, lymphocytes, and NK cells. It may also make us more vulnerable to cancer and AIDS by altering our immune system.